So before I even get started, first thing I gotta do right off the bat, shout out to my beautiful girlfriend who, if she hadn't originally challenged me, I wouldn't have gotten this done. I wouldn't have wanted to do this productive thing after kind of more or less wasting a year away creatively. I definitely gotta dedicate this to her. And so with that, let's talk about how I made my portfolio, and shout out to Saal Digital. So my girlfriend challenged me to basically get off social media for a little bit. I'm definitely, okay, I'll go ahead and say addicted. Like, if I'm not even doing anything, not even thinking about things, the first thing I'll do, I'll just mindlessly pick up my phone and check Twitter. IG actually, funnily, not so much for me. If you think me being a photographer, I would just instantly go into IG, but really not so much. I kind of check IG once or twice a day. But I guess the algorithms make it so that I don't really want to check IG all the time because I don't really see the followers. I don't see my posts that I would like to see from the people I follow. And so it makes you actually not want to check IG too much. Whereas Twitter, that's where I communicate. I'm a fighting game player, for those of you who don't know me. I'm a fighting game player, Street Fighter, Dragon Ball, Grand Blue, like you have it. Not too much 3D games, but I digress. That's how we communicate with people across the country and across the world who, that's how we all communicate. So Twitter has always been my thing. It's just like, you know what, you do use that a lot. Why don't you try to take a break? And she didn't think, she didn't mean right then and there, but I was like, you know what, why not try right now? It was the beginning of October. I deleted Instagram. Well, not Instagram actually has something going on there, but I deleted Twitter, Facebook, and I think those were the only socials I was really using. And then I had IG on there for a little bit because I was setting up a shoot. Once I did the shoot that I was actually the subject for, I got rid of IG from my phone as well. And I've been like this for a couple months, and I was like, okay, I gotta do something productive. I gotta have something to show for this besides just I wasn't doing this. And that made me look into doing prints. When I started looking up doing prints, I came across this video by Erwin Marionx. I still don't know how to say his name. I should reach out to him and be like, yo, how do you say your name? I don't want to disrespect the man.
Today I'm going to go over why you should have your photography printed and how it can help you and lead to getting more clients.
And he was showing how he did a photo book with Saal Digital, and it looked nice, and he had a voucher for $60. So I was like, yo, let me see. I went, voucher worked, and that's how I designed my portfolio. And here we are. So I just want to do a little review on them, plus tell you, basically how the procedure went for me. And kind of just give you a little rundown. It's not going to be really in depth. I'm not going to be like, here's how you drag and drop your photos and anything like that. I'm just going to talk about them a little bit because I personally had never heard of them, so maybe you haven't either. So let's go into that. So I originally, with my design, want to do a landscape. That's usually what you see in most portfolios. And I was kind of deciding how I want to do it. Before I was like, do I want to just do some prints in a box? Do I want to do a book? And then I came across this, like, okay, I want to do a book, and I have, I'm getting $60 off of it, so we can kind of do what we want with it. And then after doing research for layouts and stuff, I came across this portfolio here by Amanda Westcott for Wonderful Machine. Shout out to Wonderful Machine. If you happen to be, watching and looking, shopbytherobot.com. I'm kind of nice. If you need some people down here in Colorado Springs, Colorado, I'll drive to Denver. What's good? Besides that, her portfolio was just dope. I love the layout. It was a simple book. She would use the double pages a lot. I think that was really cool. That made me really want to change my whole thing. I literally commented, this made me change my whole layout. If you click on the link, I'm the only comment on the video. And it definitely made me go in and it was like, oh, you know what? I don't have to do this, one page of this, one page of that. And that's how my book came about. It allowed me to put portraits, double page them, especially because, the ones I really love, I can double page them and they just make a statement. And I love that. So I thought that was really cool. I also like the way that she really offset some of her photos. That was cool too. I think the Rick Ross photo was cool. Like, it was offset a little bit, but then the backgrounds there, hers had have text on it as well, so it looked very editorial. Really cool. I like to do something like that with my next book, but overall definitely inspired by Amanda Westcott's book there. I used the Saal Digital program, It was fairly intuitive, didn't really have too many issues. There's only couple things that annoyed me. One, if you go into settings, for me anyway, and I'm just going off my experience, for me, I turned on show system fonts and nothing changed. My fonts didn't show up that I have on my computer. I personally like to use Futura for my font. That's what I stick with for almost everything I use, and it wouldn't show up in thing. Not a big deal. I found a font that looked good for the little text that I had on there, so not a big deal. But that was kind of annoying. Wish my Futura that I like to use would have been there. It just matches everything else I've done. Like to keep it on brand. 2, now this one is kind of annoying. You gotta be aware of this. There is a image enhancement, auto enhancement thing on there, and it's automatically turned on when you add a photo. If you see here, I'm adding a photo fresh to a page. If you have auto layout on or off, doesn't matter. When you drag that photo to the page, it's turned on. You have to manually turn it off. You have to remember that at the end of your project to turn that off on all your photos, because assuming you're watching this and you're a photographer and you've edited your photos, you have them how you want them. You don't want them to be further edited by a computer, afterwards. I have photos that are meant to be dark and they're meant to be high in contrast. I don't need, that to be done by a computer deciding that's not actually how it should look. And if I hadn't been paying attention to that, and to be honest with you, I was days into my layout before I saw that. If I hadn't noticed that at the end, my photos would not look anything like I thought they would look like. So that's something that you'll have to make sure at the end of your project, go through all of your photos, click on that little wand, make sure it's turned off. And depending on how many pages you have, that could be super annoying. So hopefully they fix that. As of right now, it still does that. As you see in the recording, as of right now, it still has that turned on, at least on my MacBook. I haven't looked at it on my PC, but on my MacBook, it does that. It automatically is turned on. I did mention that in my review when I reviewed my product to them, but hopefully they watch the video and they'll look at that and see why that is, because you don't want that to happen. At the very least, put in the settings an option to turn that off so it doesn't automatically turn on, something of that nature, because there's nothing in settings for it. Besides that, I had no problems with it. I'm really happy with the final product. It looks good. It ships super fast. I uploaded it and paid for it on a Monday. It shipped from Germany via DHL, was here by Thursday. So I got to open it with my girlfriend, be the first ones to look at it on a Friday, and be like, man, really? Like, it's here already? That's crazy. Like, literally shipped from Germany. Like, I bought it on a Monday. So it printed out, was bound, everything, shipped out, got here by Thursday from Germany. All right. Came pretty well protected. I got it in the box that it came with right here. So you can see here, cardboard box, it's open. When you take it out, has a little foam, like little envelope here, and then here's the book itself, volume 1, volume 1 of many. I was gonna say hopefully, but ain't no hopefully. Volume 1 of many. There's gonna be more. And then like I said, I opened it up. Looks good. First page, got my logo right there. First photo, one of my favorites. Second photo, again, one of my favorites. Oh, well, all of these really are my favorites. I don't have any photos on here that I just hate. Of course, if you want to see that all page by page, click on the link up here, or click on my channel and see the video I've already posted where I go page by page showing all the book itself. But I'm really happy with everything. I think the prints came out exactly how I thought they would look on a computer. I was a little worried about that because, again, I'm still new to print here, so I was a little worried it wouldn't show up as I thought it would, but it came out really good. I personally chose the matte pages because I didn't want it to reflect too much. There's a little bit of reflection, but overall it looks really good. And like I said, you can see the gutter a little bit, but overall, like those full pages, it does not distract from the photo at all. And like I said, it got some fun layouts like this one with my homie Jenny, where I want to show some fun photos as well as like some real photos as well, just to know like, hey, we can do this fun stuff. We don't have to do all serious. We have dramatic photos that look like this. where, like I said, I was afraid of how it would print because I had never done it. This, stuff like this that's looks supposed to be dark on purpose came out really good. I'm really happy with this project. I'm really happy with this. I already plan to buy maybe 1 or 2 more, so I have one on hand for me. Take it to meetings. I'm trying to get, as I said, I've talked about it multiple times. I'm trying to start working in the commercial space and start with that. Working with local businesses and local creators here in Colorado. People who are making their own clothing and their own brands and their own merch, musicians, things like that. And I now have this to take with me to be like, here's my work, here's what it looks like in print. Maybe we can work together, and that that could be my, as we start to progress forward, we now have this, and I'm very happy with this. Overall, Saal Digital, I give you 4.5 stars, 4 4/5 stars. Literally 2 things. I only had 2 things that were an issue with what I saw with the here and over in the program, and they weren't big deals, but I love to have full control over my fonts, just because I like to keep my stuff branded. I have my own branding guide for the fonts I like to use. I have the hex code for my pink that I use for everything, so I like to keep it the same for everything. So for that was a little, again, not, I won't say annoying, but hey, I wish that's something that you could fix. And then just the image enhancement, just because as I do more work, I'm probably gonna shoot more stuff and want to make my own personal books. They're gonna have more images, and I want to be able to just turn off that image enhancement stuff and not have to worry about it. So that's another thing. Please fix that, and then after that, you're perfect. 5 stars. I will definitely be back and buying some more stuff here. Especially maybe doing my own books, some travel photography, and then as I progress, definitely gonna have to upgrade my portfolio. Trying to see here, just checking my notes, seeing if I have anything else. So definitely that's it. That's overall, that's it. Get on Saal Digital, click on Erwin's video. I've linked it below. It has a $60 voucher in his link. Click on that, get you that $60 voucher. If you make yourself a portfolio, make yourself a photo book, print out some stuff from a trip, make something for yourself, make something for a client. I think overall they're really good, and they actually now have a full-on portfolio section on their site, which they didn't when I first did this. They didn't. And then in the middle of making it, they had a portfolio section, but I was already doing this photo book, and I was like, what, for what they had, it wasn't for me, not yet, maybe in the future, but I really am happy with this photo book. And I want, like I said, I want a couple, not only just so I can send out and sit with meetings and stuff like that, but I want one for myself that I can just have sit on my shelf and worry that nothing will happen to it. So definitely highly recommend Saal Digital. They just, like I said, it looks fantastic. Click on the video if you want to see it all, see my whole book. Besides that, that's all I gotta say. With everything else at the end, how this YouTube thing works. If you would please, it would help me out a lot. Like and sub, get me in them algorithms. We're trying to come up. Appreciate it. Peace.